Hi there, my name is Christine Glover and I'm a USA Today best-selling author, but I wasn't always one. And one of the things that I really worked on before I sold my first book was learning how to develop three-dimensional characters. So today's video is based loosely on a workshop that I and my critique partner Pam Montavani put together for the Decatur Book Festival, later on for the presentation at regional conferences. People fall in love with stories we write and the characters that populate the page. My critique partner and I developed this mini workshop about ways to bring your characters to life when you write your stories. And that's what I'm discussing with you today. One of the first things you're going to want to do is develop three-dimensional characters. Iconic characters like the movie characters in When Harry Met Sally live in readers' minds and hearts long after they are finished reading the stories. Often my readers will ask, where did you come up with that person? And they want to identify and empathize with the characters that they've read about. You want them to literally step into, in Romancelandia, the heroines or the heroes. It just depends on the kind of romance you're writing. I have full inclusion diversity going on here. Not that I write male or female fiction, but I do know people who do, and they do it beautifully. So, but anyways, in my world, you step into the heroine's shoes and you want to live and breathe and experience her feelings deep down. And you also get to do that with the heroes in a romance because or their partners, because you also get an insight into how they're thinking. And men think a little bit differently than women do, as many of us know. One of the best way to accomplish this is through the author writing characters who pop off the pages and they could become real. And how do you do that? You want to start maybe with considering the trope or the plot. In Romancelandia, we have a lot of different tropes, as they call them: marriage of convenience, fake engagements, enemies to lovers, fake marriages. Secret babies are really big in Romancelandia, even now in the age of birth control. So, you know, like there's always a baby girl or a baby boy hanging around to bring two people back together again. Reunion stories, unrequited love. So there's a lot of different tropes out there, and if you're interested in learning more about them, I will share those with you a little bit more in a future video. Just let me know in the comments. One of the examples of a fake relationship is in one of my books is coming out next week or next month, the end of month, called Covert Seduction. And it's bringing two very different people, opposites attract, very different people from very different worlds, a DEA agent and an Italian heiress and winemaker who's come over from Italy. And they're thrown together by circumstances that put both their lives in danger, and through those events they come closer together and they realize that they're actually perfect for each other. But you'd have to read the book, which is coming out March 31st, to find out how they get from not really knowing each other very well and not really understanding each other to how they grow to respect and trust and love each other enough to make that commitment to bridge two worlds. You need to know what kind of emotional baggage the characters bring to the story, or as Michael Haig would call it, their false beliefs about themselves. Why do they have a false belief about themselves? What happened to them when they were growing up? There's all kinds of ways that you can develop more three-dimensional characters. I have a character worksheet that I created over several years based on different workshops I went to, different things that I learned on my own, and I compiled it all into one big worksheet. You need to really understand who they are, like not just what color their hair is or their physical attributes, but what really motivates them within, like what drives them, what's their favorite color, what's their favorite food, what would they punch somebody's lights out for, what makes them angry, do they have any weird tics, like I'm always playing with my necklace, that's a tic, that's a little something I like to do. Are they morning people? Do they eat good food or do they eat junk food? where were they born? What's their birthday? I mean, I like finding out their birthdays even, because then it's fun to play around with horoscopes and see those kind of fun little elements as you pull them together. And it just really goes deeper into the actual character, that what's really driving them. And now you can find out more about character development from all different kinds of sources, including the Heroes and Heroines Archetype book that I told you about in my favorite go-to books video earlier. I do have that worksheet that I created available. If you'd like to get a copy of it, you can email me and ask for it. I'd be happy to share it with you. It's a fun way to develop your characters' inner and outer lives, if you will. Everything from their defining moments in their life, what's the last terrible thing that happened to them, why do they think the things they think about themselves, and then what happens to change them, to make them realize that this other person is actually perfect for them, flaws and all, because they love each other for who they are, and they see behind the mask that we put before the world. And we all do that. We all want to put our best foot forward, but it's the people who love us in spite of our flaws who deserve us. And that's what we're trying to drive to here with a romance story. One of the ways that I like to develop characters also is through names. Names are important. Now, my critique partner, Pam Montavani, might say, well, Christine, when I first met you, you just had the guy and the girl. You didn't even have names when we started working together. And it's true. I just waited for a name to pop up. And that's okay. But we decided we were going to get me beyond that pop-up of a name, waiting and seeing. And in one of our very first earliest brainstorming sessions, we were coming up with the first and a last name for one of my characters, a hero. And so we came up with the first name and we came up with the last name. And then my critique partner said, and now we need to know his middle name. I'm like, are you kidding me? I cannot believe this. But you know what? It really makes a difference. Where'd that middle name come from? Was it a father? Is he a junior? It can mean something. And there's so many ways that names can help kind of mold your vision of the character himself or herself. Because if you're thinking about him in those terms, then you're actually relating to him as a real human being. I mean, quite frankly, these people are real to me. They're in my head. They talk to me. I talk about them like they're my next door neighbor, or they live, down the street, or I met them somewhere, because they're real, because I want them to be real. I want them to jump off the page and into your minds and hearts, and I want you to identify with them. It's so important. There's a lot of different resources out there to get names. I'll put some links in the description for you. There's nameberry.com. There's a really good character naming book that I'll give you the name of that. It was generated a very long time ago by Sherilyn Kenyon. Really a great resource for not only just first names, but the historical connection to names, names from all over the world, popular names. So it's a really good resource. There's some more online places that you can also look for surnames, first names. A lot of times I do a cheat on my middle name because I don't want to use a really good name that I might want to use for a future character that's a primary character or a main character in one of my books. And that's become really hard. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm literally asking my critique partners, can I use that name too? Because I've run out of really good names. And if I hear a really unique and fun name, then I jot that down and I incorporate that into my little name list. I also, on occasion, will keep a little journal. I still have this little journal, and it's basically just somebody that I meet in real life that I don't write their names down, but I write down their description, their age, what kind of animal they remind me of, something particular about them, and then I mix and match those different elements into building a new character. And I will confess that now that I'm writing romantic suspenses like Covert Seduction, I also kill off people I don't like in real life. I just change their names and have fun with it. Because, there's always that mean girl right around the corner, or that jerky person that just, is never going to be nice to you. And why not? So So basically I'm mean. Well, I'm not really mean, but it's an outlet for me, and it's a creative outlet, and I really do enjoy having fun with that aspect of it. So as I conclude this video, I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of fun new things coming up in the future. I'll be covering craft and books, not only my own books, but books by people I admire and love and respect. I'll be sharing snippets from those books as well. If you have any suggestions or tips for other name sites, I'd love to get them from you. Just drop them in the comments. And I would love to hear how you develop your characters. If you have any suggestions for me, again, I'm happy to learn. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to learn new things. And certainly this is a learning process, doing these YouTube videos for you. So again, thank you for watching, and happy writing.